Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 news video. So, the rumours you may have heard are true. It looks like at long last, Bethesda are taking action to remove legacy weapons from the game. So, quite a bit to talk about, so let's jump into it. Okay, so yeah, obviously legacy weapons are the big news. We've got a couple of other bits of news as well that are relevant to what's happening this weekend, and a couple of other things as well. So we'll dive into that in just a moment, but as you will not be surprised to hear, legacies are the really big news today. So yes, in short, Bethesda are removing legacy weapons from Fallout 76. This is long overdue and an absolutely fantastic thing. It has been on their radar for ages, to be fair. Obviously, their efforts in the past to do something about it have not yet been successful, and they're now doing something about it. So there's a myriad of possible reasons that they're obviously not going to share as to why it's happening now as opposed to any other time. Personal hunch would be that, for my experience at least, there's been a dip in their use lately, and obviously there's going to be some people who are very unhappy who are going to head for the door once their legacies go. Fortunately, from the look of things, they seem to be a distinct minority, so especially with the fact that I for one, I mean anecdotal, but still, I for one have noticed a decrease in the frequency of legacy weapons being used. It's probably as good a time as any, especially as over the last year or so, particularly recently in general, there has been an increase in newer players coming to Fallout 76 as well. That kind of shift means that the impact will be reduced as well, so not a bad time for it, really. Would have been nice to have it ages ago, but, you know, it is what it is. It's happening now, and that's great. So, what's happening? In short, anything that players should not have in that kind of vein is not going to be there anymore after the update. So the PTS came back up last night. That's the public test server. They're testing Nuka World On Tour, which is the next update is due about a month from now. So for those of you still running through the current season, by the way, that's also when the season will end. It'll be early December, so you've got about a month to get through that as well. But yeah, PTS came back up again and brought with it a few changes, as it usually does, including this big weapon shift. So the gist of it being legacy weapons are going to be gone as of the beginning of December. So let's have a look at what Bethesda had to say on the subject first up. So here we go from the current Inside the Vault blog post, upcoming weapon changes. Although we are playing in a post-apocalyptic world, we still want to keep that world fair, fun, and inviting to all. Whilst you've been exploring and rebuilding, we've been working on a new system that works behind the scenes to remove illegal attachment combinations that violate the end-user license agreement, to ensure that every single player is using and trading the same items and has the same advantages as you. In today's PTS update, we are implementing a system that will remove illegal mods attached to weapons that cannot be obtained in-game. Most players will not notice any change to their existing weapons. However, players who are in possession of a weapon with a mod that cannot be equipped naturally to the weapon may notice a damage decrease to the weapon, and the mod will no longer exist. This is intentional, does not need to be reported on the PTS Bug Reports channel in our official Discord, but we encourage you to report anything unusual you observe outside of this change. So that's, I mean, it covers it, but it's a tiny little bit vague. It's kind of generalized, so that's interesting and possibly relevant as well. But we do have a Reddit post that kind of clarifies a little bit as well, so let's take a quick look at that. Okay, yeah, this went up on Reddit last night, so basically somebody's jumped into the PTS and has tested it out and sort of seen what the realities of this actually pan out to be. So, PTS, Legacy / Hacked Weapons Mega Thread. So this one's coming from Hunter World on, well, actually multiple socials from what I have gathered, but particularly Reddit here. So yes, hacked weapons and explosive laser weapons have been removed from the PTS. 3-star laser weapons that had the explosive effect are now 2-star. So yeah, essentially what they're doing here is if you have, for example, a legacy weapon, let's pick a 2-shot explosive +1 perception laser rifle to pull something out of thin air that is legacy. Basically, that 3-star weapon will now be a 2-star and the explosive will be gone. So it will now be a 2-shot +1 perception laser rifle. Basically, yeah, anything that shouldn't be on there is going to vanish. So you'll know your explosive Gatling plasmas, they'll be everything else, but they won't be explosive anymore. That's going to be gone after update day, reducing it down to a regular weapon. You'll be able to roll for an extra 3rd mod if you want, take it back up to 3-star, but you're not going to get the explosive. The interesting question is, I tend to see this like weirdly more on the PTS than anywhere else, but other kinds of hacked weapons are kind of implied here. So you might occasionally see, say, an explosive fixer or something like that with a laser rifle splitter mod on the end of the barrel. Obviously, that's not supposed to be there. That's probably going to be gone as well. So it looks like basically anything that should not be there in terms of legacy weapons, in terms of hacked weapons and stuff like that, are going to have those unacceptable components removed, and just you'll keep the weapon, but it won't have its flashy benefits. So I personally think this is a great thing. If people were actually able to behave nicely and just use their legacy weapons in private worlds or places where there aren't other players kicking around, that would be one thing. But obviously, plenty of people do not restrain themselves in that way, and they'll just head to public events and places where other players are hanging out and getting involved and just basically rain on everybody else's parade. Kinda literally in Fashion Act anyway. So having this knocked on the head, seeing as we obviously can't trust people to behave themselves, is definitely a good thing. In terms of it being a EULA issue, it's actually really cool the way they're handling this, because basically breaking the end user license agreement means Bethesda are well within their rights to just ban you right out, which, getting these weapons is often the case that it does breach that. This is actually a kind of nice way of dealing with it that doesn't require them to flat out ban people, so this is relatively generous. There are other developers out there, for sure, who, if they encountered this sort of thing, would absolutely bring down the ban hammer, so this is definitely a nicer way of dealing with it. Obviously, plenty of those people who love their legacies a bit too much are probably going to go, right, I'm out of here, and bye. Good riddance. But for most people, it'll be business as usual. Most people will be absolutely fine. Definitely a good thing to have all of this stuff going. I'm definitely pleased with that. Obviously, as long as they can keep on top of making sure no duplication bugs pop up in the future, and this doesn't then circumvent this, that will be absolutely great, and very, very good for the health of the game. And as I say, being as the numbers of people actively engaging using legacies seem to have dropped recently, then their removal is probably going to have a relatively smaller impact on most people, so that's definitely a good thing. One of the other things I could comment on that was quite nice to see when I dipped into Reddit earlier was that the attitude and the behaviour of people on Reddit has been impressively non-toxic. I'm guessing those people who are most unhappy about this change are probably keeping their mouths shut and their heads down, because they'll get jumped on and stamped all over if they start popping up in the thread, but most people are very, very agreeable and very much in favour of this change, and I certainly fall into that category. I'm very happy about it. It'll make life a lot more pleasant, I think. So there we go. As of early December, when Nuka World On Tour comes, we should be seeing legacy weapons go, which is fantastic. Really happy to see that. So, let's round this out by having a quick look at everything else that Bethesda have for us. We have a brand new event in the vein of the one that's just finished, which is quite cool. And we have the cool weekend activities, which are also worth having a look at because they include double XP this weekend. So, let's go through this reasonably swiftly. So, call to action. So we have a Auto-Axe themed event running this week. Spin up your Auto-Axe and complete challenges to unlock rewards. Or actually, it's not this week from the look of this. It's going to be Tuesday from the look of that. Starting November the 15th, claim the Red Upper Auto-Axe skin for free from the Atomic Shop, and complete unique daily and weekly challenges with the Red Upper Auto-Axe skin applied to earn rewards and unlock the Fanatic Stalker outfit. Daily and weekly challenges can be completed in Appalachia or inside an expedition. So there we go. Basically, they're going to give us a free skin for the Auto-Axe, a whole bunch of dailies that we can jump into the game, do those with your newly skinned Auto-Axe, and there's a free outfit at the end of it for us. So it's just a fun event that is related to the current run of content, obviously surrounding the pit and expeditions and the arrival of the Auto-Axe, but will allow us to get some extra stuff, and yeah, should hopefully give us something to work towards over the next week or so. So interestingly, this is actually running for 2 weeks. It starts at 12 PM Eastern, so 5 PM UK time on November 15th, that's Tuesday, and runs for 2 weeks, which is interesting because they've only listed one reward on here. I'm guessing from that, based on the way they usually do these things, that there will actually be another set of rewards that they have yet to mention here that will come later on. It may be that there are other cool things that you can pick up along the way. I don't know. It may just be score. It may just be contributing to this event. We'll have to wait until Tuesday when we get in, but it's something to work towards and some fun free stuff we can grab by playing the game as of next week, which is cool. So, that brings us on to weekend activities this weekend. So, this weekend, Appalachia has a host of exciting activities prepared for you up until November 14th, so that being tea time Monday for those of us in the UK, midday in the US. You'll earn double XP and double score when you play in any game mode. Additionally, Purveyor Murmur at the Rusty Pick is offering up a special discount on 3-star legendary weapons and armor, which is cool. So, going to the Purveyor to pick up weapons and armor that way, not the best RNG-wise. The possible loot pool is considerably larger than if you craft in directly, so I would suggest focusing on the other two and stick to the legendary crafting, but still, that is in there as well. More interestingly, double XP and double score through the course of this weekend if you want a little boost on the season, or just generally a little extra XP. I hadn't registered the double XP actually myself when we played last night. I did notice the double score, but that explains why I was able to pick up a couple of levels a bit quicker than I expected to last night. If it's double XP, so yeah. If you want an opportunity to grind out a few levels, hit some targets, pick up some extra score, maybe even just get a few level ups in the bank so that if you wish to swap out your loadout, for example, you'll be able to grab the perk cards for that, or upgrade your legendary perks as well. Then this is a good opportunity to grind out a bunch more of those levels and make some progress. So, there we go. Big news on the Legacy front. Very, very cool to see the back of those at the beginning of December. Very, very excited about it. Very happy myself. And of course, a couple of fun events going on from this weekend and into next week as well. So, yeah, definitely a good news day on the Fallout front, I think. Yeah. And just as a reminder, we haven't got an official date yet for the Nuka World On Tour update, which obviously will get rid of legacies and bring the whole rest of the update with it. We've got a new location coming. We've got a whole bunch of new public events that will be going into rotation, and there's a new world boss as well. If you want to see a little bit about that stuff, I've got videos on the topic, so do check them out. But that is due to arrive early December. That's usually when the winter update comes in. We haven't got an official date yet. It's usually the first or second Tuesday. My personal inclination is probably towards the first one, given the way December falls this year. But it may be the second, so early December. So bear that in mind if you are still working through the season as well. Hope you guys are as excited for this change as I am and found this useful and informative. If you did, you know where all the buttons are down below. I do very much appreciate it. Down there as well are my social media links, the merch store, channel memberships, all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel that way, it hugely helps out and I really, really appreciate it. So massive thank you to everybody who's done that already. And of course, do join us for live streams as well. We are playing a few different bits and pieces and of course Fallout 76 as well. So lots of fun stuff going on and I hope to see you there. But for now, thank you very much for watching and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.